Hello, I'm David Monteith. I'm part of the campaign to save Greenwich's Adventure Playgrounds. Now, I want to be clear that I'm not doing this as part of that campaign. This is my own personal musings on what I've seen, and others in the campaign may agree with me or not, but this is my personal take on stuff. Now, over the last 4 or 5 months since I've been involved with that campaign, going into council meetings and cabinet meetings has absolutely shocked me at the responses of the cabinet to people's concerns about the playground. I mean, I've even lost sleep over it because I was so shocked at what I was hearing. Now, I have taken one example from a publicly available video because things are said and you can't respond to them. And this is my only way of responding to some genuinely, in my mind, jaw-dropping facepalm moments. So this was from a cabinet meeting recently, and the councillor speaking is Rachel Taggart-Ryan. Have a look, and then I'll drop my take on what was said.
My question is really about we alluded to it a little bit earlier, the percentage of young people who are using the APCs as part of our wider youth offer. And the reason I ask this is because I was born and grew up and spent nearly my entire life in Greenwich, and I have an active interest in outdoor play. I trained as a climbing instructor in the climbing wall that we have in Woolwich Dockyard, and I've spent the last 5 years taking my nephew each week to various play centres. And until I became a councillor, I had never heard of the adventure play centres. So whether they reflect the youth offer, I realise I'm probably not a youth now anymore, but it wasn't that long ago. I'm not sure it was something that was really reflecting what the youth in the 1990s and early 2000s was, and it certainly isn't something that I've noticed many young parents of my age particularly bringing their primary school age children to. And, you know, we've done a lot of work consulting on youth and the youth offer. I just want to know, what is the youth? Is this what young people are still wanting?
So it's great that you can afford to go to a climbing wall week after week for 5 years, but that doesn't mean that everyone can. And frankly, I find it disturbing that someone in a position to make decisions can't see outside of their own circumstances. It also reeks of ignorance around the concepts of equality and equity. Let me explain with a classic example. If there's a fence that is too tall for anyone to see over, equality demands that we give everyone a box to stand on. However, for short people, they still might not be able to see over the fence, so you have to give them a bigger box than you gave the tall people. That's equity, and what it results in is fairness for everyone. If you can afford a weekly visit to a climbing wall, then maybe you don't need an adventure playground. But for those that can't, the adventure playground provides equity. It's not for everyone and shouldn't be for everyone. A staffed playground provides a specific service for specific people. Shocking to me that that's not obvious. Second, not knowing it exists is not about lack of demand for the playground services. It's about poor promotion, something the council could have championed. That's about better management. My family discovered it by accident, but my kids have been using it avidly ever since. I couldn't believe we didn't know this brilliant resource was there. Finally, the question, is this what young people are still wanting? That was the whole point of the consultation. If you have to ask this question after the consultation has been completed, then it simply wasn't fit for purpose. Let me be clear, I'm not in the business of character assassination. That's not who I am. I am instead incredibly concerned that I could pick a dozen other publicly available moments from council and cabinet meetings and pick them apart with minimal thinking capacity. How is this the council that get things done? Anyway, should I do more of these? Because there's a whole heap of examples. You tell me.